The UK is recognized as a leading user of closed-circuit television, which in short CCTV, and the public are used to seeing CCTV cameras on virtually every high street. Such systems continue to enjoy general public support, but they do involve intrusion into the lives of ordinary people as they go about their day-to-day business and can raise wider privacy concerns. Who draws the line between what is public interest and just plain harassment when a camera is placed? What about the private camera placed on property with malicious intent? Who regulates the camera on private property? Yes, surveillance cameras are important to deter crimes. However, it is important to note who is at the other end of the camera, who really is watching you, who ultimately views what the camera lens observes, who decides when a privately owned security surveillance camera is poorly aimed when the camera is deliberately pointed into the windows of a private residence. In short, who decides and who regulates. So, good morning to Madam Salmi and my fellow classmates. Today, I'm going to convince you guys about why we should know that CCTV is actually a threat to freedom. One of the main reasons is because freedom of privacy is threatened as there are many cameras watching people every move. They could peer inside of our windows with the full protection of the law on their side. If a person was standing watching outside a window, it could be a crime. Yet, the same person could place a surveillance camera then remotely view a person within the privacy of their home. Most importantly, it is not against the penal code. It is an infringement on your civil liberties. Why film innocent people doing nothing criminal in public places? It will allow governments to watch us, which may not matter now but in the wrong hands can be catastrophic. We don't deserve to be watched while living our lives. And I believe this is an awful idea because if a window is open somewhere, a person could look through and watch them all the time. So that is an invasion of privacy. Police should be out on the streets trying to prevent crime. CCTV cameras are just a less effective alternative to having police walk through the streets. CCTV cameras are just there to give the public a false feeling of safety and are a less effective replacement for policing. The myth is that CCTV cameras does prevent crime, but the reality is that they do not. Those who give up liberty for safety deserve neither. That is what Benjamin Franklin said. Another valid reason is information gathered from the cameras can be used to promote terrorism as they can hack the security. Do we know who is behind the camera all the time? All we know is that they are maybe police officers or the authorities behind it, but what if it's actually not? Such examination is only utilized in a society if it is revealed to society. At present, we are not informed of any activity of terrorists before it occurs. We are merely left to carry on with our daily lives. We receive no benefit. To justify an encroachment upon our right, surely the CCTV cameras should provide some benefit for us individual members of society. Retroactive action is simply not good enough. The huge rise in surveillance and data collection by the state and other organizations risks undermining the long-standing traditions of privacy and individual freedom which are vital for democracy. If the public are to trust that information about them is not being improperly used, there should be much more openness about what data is collected, by whom, and how it is used. Technologies are highly developed nowadays. Hacking is not a hard task for the professional ones anymore. With CCTVs around the cities, terrorists can hack the system and gather as much as information to attack that particular place. Internet-connected IP cameras are of particular concern. Such systems are more easily hackable than a closed-circuit system, and the concerns over cybersecurity only continues to grow. The last reason of why we should know that CCTV is actually a risk for us is because it can provoke someone to commit crime. CCTV is a threat to freedom as it can often provoke someone to commit a crime. For those people who are not keen on being watched, it can be unnerving and drive someone to take it out on the camera. Nobody likes the speed cameras, for example, which are basically another form of CCTV. These cameras, in particular, along with a few cameras outside smaller businesses, are often damaged or completely destroyed. This constitutes a crime of malicious mischief. There is also the threat that when there is a chance of being caught on CCTV, it gives the criminal a bigger buzz when they think that they could commit an illegal act right under the authorities' nose and walk away from it. This all basically falls back on provocation. The criminal can either become more daring with a bigger rush and more risk added to their deviant behavior, or for some people who, under all usual circumstances, are calm and law-abiding citizens, may be pushed to destroy the cameras to prevent some stranger watching them, and thus restricting their freedom of privacy. This destruction is a crime that could be prevented if the cameras were not there at the first place. In conclusion, we should know our rights as a person and a civilian. If the government wants to put CCTVs on the streets, we should have the information of who is watching our every movement so that they will not invade our privacy. CCTV is a threat to freedom if we give a chance to be invaded. So that's all from me. Thank you.